Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, in our last video, we showed you how to use your little CSS boxes in the custom CSS for each module, and also the little freeform tab there. We created these little animations here. Today, we're going to talk about the fantastic Divi Code Module itself, and it really is an awesome thing. You can write any code on your page, and it's not restricted to just CSS. You can write JavaScript in there if you want to, or all kind of things. And I'll show you a couple of examples. I've got a little animation running on that middle module there. We're doing that with the code module. Every 10 seconds or so, it's rolling around and it's inverting the colors for us. Really eye-catching thing. And I've got a little button here that says pop me up. When I click on it, it's going to pop up a little section just like that. We're using another little code module to use a bit of JavaScript and CSS to do that. Really versatile. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the visual builder. Now let's get rid of my little code modules here. Now code modules don't take up much real estate, so you can put them pretty much anywhere on your page you want to. I'm going to delete this whole row. Great. So I've got a regular page here. There's not a whole lot going on. It's got a couple of images there. Like I say, we did that CSS effect on those yesterday. Good old parallax heading, got another little call to action, a couple of blurbs, and a button there that says pop me up. Let's get rid of that one too. Then just a crazy little gallery at the bottom. So I'm going to add a code module, and like I say, you can add these pretty much anywhere you want. I'm going to go ahead and add mine under my little blurb modules here. So I'm going to hit the little plus to add a new module. You can add it, put it in a new row if you want to. I'm just putting it straight under this module here. It's a code module. There we go. And it presents us with a little empty box like this, which is great. Now, what I want to do is put a little CSS animation in here that anything I apply a class name to will have that animation. The thing with a code module is you have to tell it what kind of code you're writing. For instance, if we were adding CSS, which we will be, you need to tell it by opening some style tags. Style tags are left pointing bracket, the word style, and right pointing bracket. Once you put that right pointing bracket in, it'll put in the closing style tag for you, and we can write CSS in between these two tags. Let's give it a bit of space by putting my cursor in between. Now, rather than writing this animation from scratch like I do in my simple CSS, I've got one over here. I'll just paste it in there and tell you what it does. I've created a class name. You can tell it's a class name because it has a dot or a period in front of it. I've made the class name INV capital AN. That's kind of my shorthand for what it does. It inverts the colors, so it's invert animation. You can call yours what you want, but it wants to be unique. Now I'm going to create an animation. We're going to call it INV cull, invert color if you like. It's going to run for 20 seconds. It's going to keep going and going, and it's going to be fairly smooth. Using keyframes to do this. And I've just got the intervals of 0 to 20. It's going to be regular. From 40 to 60, it's going to be inverted. 80 to 100, it's going to be regular again. Then just in case that's too much for visitors, I've added another little line here with a hover. If they put their mouse on it, it'll stop that animation. Now to apply this animation to any module, section or row, we just need to copy the class name here, INV capital AN, without the dot. When we write it, we need the dot or period in front. When we apply it to a module, we do not need that dot. So I'm going to copy that, Control C. We'll save our changes here. Now to apply it to a module or a row, just need to go into the module, the dark tab, or the row, the green tab, and you can apply it to sections if you want to, the blue tab. Let's just throw it into this middle one again like I had going before. So go to where you want to go in the module. Going to go to Advanced. CSS IDs and classes is in the top. There's my original one that I had. Let's get rid of that. And it's okay to put multiple class names in there. For instance, if I put that back, Control Z, you can add a new class name by giving it a gap and putting the new class name after it, which is our new class name that I've created right there. Like I say, it's okay to have more than one class name, but you can only ever have one CSS ID in a module. Okay, so we've given it that. If I move this out of the way, it should be inverting. Yep, we can see. It's going to roll around, change. It's going to hold there for a little bit, and it's going to go back to normal. Like I say, you can make that a row if you want to. Again, let's go into perhaps this whole gallery, and we can invert all those images the same way by just putting that class name in there. Watch those little images. I'll start to invert in a second. And they'll go to the opposites and come back. And things like that really do get people's attention. And like I say, if you want to, you can do it on a whole section. That's going to be a little interesting. Let's perhaps do it on this top section right here. Going into the section, and CSS IDs and classes, it's always in the same place under advanced in modules, sections, and rows. You know exactly what we've got to do. We'll just paste that in there. And you'll notice it'll start changing once my mouse is off it, because when the mouse is on it, remember we put that little bit of code in there to make it stop. For instance, if I put my mouse on it now, it's going to go back to the original. That's one little way of using a code module. Another way is we created a pop-up before, so I'm going to steal a bit of code here from Elegant Themes. And we've done lots of videos on this about how to pop up a lightbox. So what we're going to do is add a new code module, and the existing one can stay there. Put it in the same place, or perhaps put it over underneath this one this time. Now you don't want to overload any one page with code, and what you want to remember is with these code modules, they will only work on the page that you put them on. Whereas if you put it in your theme options, with JavaScript into your integrations tab, and the Divi options here, and CSS, you can either put it in the additional CSS tab, or put it in the custom CSS here. These places will work site-wide, but your code module is only going to work on the page it's working on, which is fine in a lot of instances. So let's just grab some code here from Elegant Themes. I'm not going to go through this. Like I say, I've got lots of videos on this. I will put this link down below for anybody who wants to read through it and do this. It is a great way of adding pop-ups without adding a plugin. Now we've got some CSS code right here. So I've copied all of that, Control C. I'm going to go back to my little code module here. And remember, we have to tell it what kind of code it is. So we want some style tags. Now I can place that CSS code in here. Basically, this is telling the pop-up that we pop up to have an X on the top that we can close it out with. And it's telling it to be full screen, etc. But if I go down to the bottom of this, we've also got some script. Now, if you had raw JavaScript, you'd have to write script tags. Script tags are the same thing as style tags, but it says script inside, S-C-R-I-P-T. And again, put the closing pointy bracket in there, it'll put the closing one. But luckily for us, if we roll down a bit, Elegant Themes has actually nicely put that within some script tags for us, so we don't need our own. So I'll copy that. And we'll go back and get rid of those script tags and just simply paste it in there. So we've got quite a lot of code in here. We've got some JavaScript and we've got some CSS. Let's save our changes there. Now to make something pop up, I need to give it a class of ETLB content and a number. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it tells us on this page right here. So here's a class name. I'm going to give it to the section that I want to pop up. And with this, it's going to hide that section. You won't see it on the page until you create a button or whatever it is you want to use to pop it up. And you can use anything to pop up anything. And I'll give you a demonstration of this in a moment. So this section, the dark section with the call to action, is what I want to pop up. So I'm going to go into the section, advanced, you know where the CSS IDs and classes is. I've already got that in there from when I was demoing it before, so I'll leave that just as it is. And I need to create something to pop it up with. Now I can add a button like I did before and just give it that class name. Or you can pop it up from a module if you want to. For instance, I give this the class name of ETLB button 1, and the number on the end has to correspond to the part that you want to pop up. Here it is right here. Last thing. When I click on this module in there, it'll pop up this section. And like I say, when we save this page, you will not see this section because the CSS is going to hide it. So let's save our changes and see if this is all going to work for us. Save draft, publish if you're ready. And let's exit Visual Builder. There's our initial section. As you can see, it's animating those crazy animations. Stay there for a bit. If I put my mouse on it, it's going to go back to normal. If we roll down a bit, we've got that one little animating in the middle there. And if we roll down a bit more, we've got a gallery animating down below also, which is kind of crazy, but interesting for sure. Now, this little module over here, if I put my mouse on it there, you'll see that it turns into a hand, indicating something is going to happen. The little red icon color change there is just some CSS I happen to have in the module. If I click on this, it's going to pop up that little section with a call to action. There we have it. Close it out right there. And you'll notice that little call to action section is not visible on the page now. So those are just a couple of demos of how to use that little Divi Code Module. It's a fantastic thing to have on your page if you want to do a bit of instant styling and get some things going, such as this. And also, you can use it for more complex stuff like JavaScript and CSS also, and use it for popping up things like this or any other JavaScript that you may have in mind. Check out my simple CSS playlist if you want to learn more. We've got lots of JavaScript and CSS demos on there. Majority of it has the code that you can just copy and paste. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you or make a little demo video just like this one. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.